Good afternoon, guys. Ready to hop in for our closing hour, our nice little power hour for the end of the day. We can say that we ended up to the daily expected move to go down into where those buyers last stepped in. And the big deal for tomorrow is Vixpiration, right? We do have Vixpiration. It should be an interesting time for us to see some heightened volatility for the next few days as volatility starts to figure its stuff out and we start to get some new contracts in. So we are rolling into that kind of period of time. We see that volatility is trying to remain strong in this area, suggesting that the 2 hour is not going to curl down. We'll see if that's going to come to fruition because as of right now, as far as price goes, we are remaining in that bullish area, right? It's very difficult for us to break down right now. We'll see if that's going to happen during this window, this real nice, I would say week-long period where we start to see this rebalancing. This is something that you want to see with those contracts, like big moves up. And this is our opportunity to possibly even see this volatility start to scale up and get a bigger, a more sizable pullback. But we should not be thinking stock market crash with this kind of thing, right? So what we're paying attention to with that information in mind is the fact that the SPY on the 30-minute is dipping down into negative territory. We are going down, down, down into the area where the buyers last really showed up from Monday, right? That's where the buyers showed up from Monday. As of right now, we have all that weakness and divergence. If you were taking those kind of risk to reward plays on the potential good confirmation and not reacting to this bar, hey, you should be producing here. And in this type of environment with a weekly expected move where it is at, it would say, take these moves as, profit when they actually do scale up with value, right? I talked about the premium grab down in here. We talked about that coming back. All right. We saw those funky behaviors to come back. And I still believe that we have a chance to extend this move. Just I expect volatility to increase a little bit from now into potentially the first week of, June, right? First week of June. I think we can look for that. What we can look for as well is if we actually see signals at the end of the week on both of our indicators at the same time for the actual short possible position. The one that I would be willing to maybe put a little bit more behind would be if the 2 hour remains down in these type of areas with little pops, right? We stay in this type of area or even stay down above our expected move and then we curl up on the 2 hour into positive territory. Hey, what's that looking like? Boom, to the upside to go try to get to something like 598.60. So still watching for this. We should be aware of heightened volatility for the next few weeks, just so you are aware. Volatility for a trader is a great thing, so we like it. Where can we pull back to? Exactly where we're at right now is a very, very good level to pull back to right now. If you're talking about a 2 hour pullback, you would be paying attention to the weekly expected move or down a little bit deeper for this week. Really not reaching down to these type of levels for the week. That would be an unknown thing happening, right? We would not be able to fully see that coming unless price showed us the way down. Showing us the way down for price here to get down to those type of levels, like these, you would have to break this, then you'd have to break this, you would have to come down to this type of area, see some kind of bounce, continue that, break this low, then get some kind of bounce, and then see something bad come out next week as we have that shortened trading week down to get to these type of levels. So we're just watching for what is going to come in the next few trading sessions, though. We're not trying to read into price and, guess the future from there. But that's how it would happen, right? You first have to lose what, though? You have to lose this entire bar. You have to lose this entire bar to really go down lower. So I went ahead and marked it off for you the best that I could. And now we can pay attention to that. We can even look at a 5-minute time frame if you would like. We can see from this 5-minute time frame, there is a critical area if you've been watching this throughout the day. I've been trying to watch these shorter time frames a little bit more often. It was actually right in here. As you come in, you make the somewhat higher low, right? Somewhat higher low. This was your opportunity to try to burst through. And what you were looking for in here was a retest where those buyers stepped in right around this area. And you notice we're able to break through that and make a new low. So therefore, we see that thing start to dump. And that's a big problem there. You can see how price was kind of pinned in this area. That's the exact area where the most buyers came in. right? We can see that right in here. We see where this wick is. We go bam, bam, bam right there. Okay, that's where we remained for a bit of time, so just be aware of that. We do see lower prices as of now. You are at your daily expected move. We'll see how this ends by the end of the day. But as far as we see it for the time being on, say, these shorter time frames, you have to take a lot of things out to actually go up as well. So we'll see what happens here. You're going to have heightened volatility. Right now, the 30-minute is trying to go negative, not a good sign. So this is the end of today is where the SPY, I believe, needs to turn around if it wants to make a new high in this overall move altogether. If not, you're at risk of VIX expiration starting to lead to more downside being something like 585. What's up, Boost? How you doing? You take a look at Google. Google did kind of flop it, didn't it? So Google flopped it, and hopefully you were watching this because this is great. This is actually great to see. So what'd you do here overall? You set up, right now you just have a lower high. You haven't seen necessarily a full breakdown, right? We've broken down below this, so you're looking for the potential for weakness, weirdly enough. You're looking for that to continue or take out that high and retest down in here to go higher. You're looking for that, or sorry, you're looking for something like this. Maybe the bulk of the sellers, right? Looking for something like that. Or you're looking for something like this to tear you through so you can start going that opposite direction. The crazy part about stocks, like individual stocks right now, are these lows. These lows are just crazy. So if you lose the previous one, I'd be paying attention for direction down. It's going to be a difficult time for Google. As far as the 2-hour goes, what 2-hour weakness caused this? Well, a double top where what? You didn't go make a new high. So as this is just one whole top in general for the 2-hour, right? The 2-hour could still dip into lower levels to actually go higher. So where are you paying attention for Google to go higher on a 2-hour basis? You're looking here, very heavily paying attention to the gap fill, very heavily paying attention to gap fills down in here, right? So still remaining in the zone, peeking your head above the zone is a good thing. It is now saying, okay, we came from the bottom, so do not lose that zone again. That would be a bad thing. We want to remain probably above this gap right here to actually see that whip back to the upside. But you could be in a series of pain for a little bit here. You saw that 30-minute break this. So that 30-minute, you might see some wicks come in here to actually drop down lower for Google. That's how I see it as of now, but just note that some weird things can happen during this time. We do see us heading down into this 589.50. This will be very interesting going into tomorrow. Did GLD, did that end up hitting the level that we would like to see? It's right in here. It's right in here. That's the level we're looking for GLD to see what kind of reaction we get. If you're wondering what that is, it's about 305. Doesn't have to be a perfect number, but you're just looking for behavior around there, seeing if you can reject at any point and then lose this zone again to possibly head down to this gap. A lot of gaps in GLD. JP Morgan actually still held resilient for a little bit of time. Now starting to see that slightly roll. Doesn't look like a great new high for you. But SPY's what we're watching. Here we go. Let's get a little spike here, see what happens. We have not lost the low yet. Actually, if you guys want the second standard deviation for the daily expected moves, I can show you that as well. Second standard deviation is 587.34. Here, let's just do this. What is this? 587.34. So this would be the critical level where you could catch a bounce and probably get a retest. So this would be, if we hit this, right? We hit this, things start to change to what? We can go down to here after a couple little reactions, maybe like this, or to retest where are those sellers, right? It's not going to be the same as this zone, right? If this is going to happen and we're going to break down completely, you would look in here still. right? Just so you are aware. So we'll pay attention to this area where the buyers came in. Starting to hit that center point. This is where degens can make decisions. This is where degens make decisions. You did make a new high on this push. Alrighty. I'm going to take a peek at volatility on my other screen. Looking at pricing and stuff in case I wanted to be a degen. I don't think I'll be a degen. I'd like to wait to see what happens with expiration, see if we get that more meaningful pullback. Let's see here. What the heck are my charts? Oh, there they are. Let's go look at VIX real quick. VIX just now starting to really ramp up. You did make a new low. You were able to cross through. So this means volatility will at least try to head up, potentially to 1933. Which means once we hit 1933, you're going to be dabbling into the bottom here towards these lower prices. So there's your second standard deviation right there, 587.34 for the SPY. And there's that center point, right? The center of all those buyers coming in. That's just a big-ass bar I'm going to mark off. It hit my 303, but you're a little early on it. That's unfortunate. I don't think gold has been like easy, Richard. So, Richard, are you looking at futures when you're trying to do gold plays? Let me know. How is JP Morgan holding through all this? That's what I'm saying. That's why I clicked on it for a sec. If this is actually pretty damn bad. Whoa, what are these? What the? Hey, a lot of red going on. Why are these guys green? Stop doing that. You guys, stop it. No, keep going. Seriously though, keep going, please. As far as JP Morgan goes, that's what I'm confused about at this point. And what really confuses me more is the fact that we got this big ass wick and we saw extreme buying come in from there. We even saw upside, but you didn't go make a new high, right? That's kind of crazy to me. And then what did you do here? You utilized like all the buying, right? We utilized the buyers from all of this and we just tapped into the top of that. And then you see this big bar and you go, I should probably mark that off, right? And is it bearish yet? And you would have to say like potentially no. We'll include most of the bar there. You would have to say potentially no. No, it is not necessarily bearish yet, which is just crazy to me because this easily could have been bearish. It was like, this is bearish, no new low. And then if you look at this, I think it even made a new high by a few cents. So it's like, I'm gonna try, is what JP Morgan keeps saying. Definitely not the easiest time for JP Morgan. Let's look at the 2-hour perspective as well. If you look at the 2-hour perspective, what do we say? If I see a 2-hour with just one curl up, I'm always assuming there would be another one. That's just how I like to roll, right? Maybe this comes down into here, we fiddle around for a bit, then we actually see that extend going into like Friday. Then Monday we see like actual repricing of Expiration. I don't pay heavy attention to it. I'm just aware of it. Right? It's one of those things that you'll hear me shout out and I'm like, yeah, I don't pay like the most attention to it, but I do keep myself aware of those things. If you understand like market, like everyone's been saying market mechanics, I kind of like that term now. I kind of say like algorithms. Then in order to remain bullish, you would want the VIX kind of to reprice in some way. So you want these volatility spikes, even if you're a bull. But you could have heightened volatility up until like it's usually the week of, like especially when it's on a Wednesday. I don't remember. I think they're all on Wednesdays, but it's usually the week of, like leading into it, or you're going to see it even all the way up to like 2 weeks after it. So that means like next week, you should expect some sort of volatility. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. Let me read on Richard real quick. Let me see. Did you end up? Yeah, I was. I looked at GC, but still worrying on relating. Let me see. Yeah, relating the two isn't necessarily like, I know you're focused on GLD, and I don't think you were wrong to like say, oh, get out of the contract first, because really this is your first real breakout moment. And in the grand scheme of things, this could be your 4-hour retest. Like this doesn't even have to be like anything fantastic yet for this, because you're still in like possibly the 1 phase. And then you come up and you go fill that gap, react through the zone in the bottom coming into it. So now it's resistance. And then you'll see this. And if you're able to like hold up at these lows, kind of like we did right here, that would be a good sign. But when you see this, you always want to kind of have the inclination of, oh, we can go lower, right? And then you end up going lower. So I don't think it's like, oh, gold is just all of a sudden going to be the best thing in the world. I think it has some work to do. That work to do would be, how does this go back on the bull side? Show you the new high, right? We talked about this. We kind of talked about this type of thing happening, where you just see like gold explode, probably not good for the market. And then everyone's like, yeah, gold, gold, gold. Then it retests and everyone's like, oh, gold's failing. And then it just turns to the upside again, right? So you need a strong move here from gold, that's for sure. And you made the higher lows to do it, so let's see if it comes back. It looks like it's going to try to come back. I'm trying to talk a lot with price action in mind these days. Try to help people get an eye for it. And there's that line. Very nice. We'll see if that can actually produce like more positivity than what you're seeing right now. Just reloading for more gains. As of right now, this would be a reload. The only thing that is making me hesitant to say like buy calls on the reload for like Friday and just see if we can hit 596 or something and get rid of them and not play with Friday at all in case we see that heightened volatility like going into next week. The only reason I'm not leaning anyway, like, or at least I'm not willing to do that, is because I don't know exactly what would happen with Expiration here. Are we going to see volatility right away during a week where like the range is pretty tight? Or are we going to do it on a shortened trading week? Can we talk about that too? Like, are we going to do it on a shortened trading week as well? Like a shortened trading week next week would be a very easy time to like pump some volatility. But then at the same time, a shortened trading week next week would be a good time to pump positivity, right? If we see some kind of downturn. Pretty much ever since like I would overall say like everything was readable until like this moment, and then even this moment you could start to read into it here. And then this part right here breaking down is where you're starting to see Expiration happen. That's my opinion. I think if Expiration wasn't here, we would just go higher. And so now it looks like we reach down. We pump it. Maybe we pump it. This is a big maybe at this point, because this guy might, or VIX 9-day, whatever you're looking at, most likely you're going to need some what? Like overall, this has to get above here to be back. So what would be nice here is you see that volatility push, and then it just fails in this part right here at some point, in this, where the extreme collapse happened, which would equal to what? What would this equal to? Well, this is Monday at 8:10. This is Monday at 8:40. So what does this like little rundown right here equal to right now? And is VIX playing with that? Well, it's getting into it, and it's immediately seeing some resistance. So we'll see. But it is also on the shorter term making a new high. So for the SPY, this would equate to that bar, right? So volatility needs to break down from this bar, just like the SPY needs to break back up to remain bullish with this bar. This means for me, for trend, if the VIX expirations weren't happening and we weren't going to see this little period or 2 weeks of volatility increase, volatility one works both ways, right? But at the same time, if we didn't have this, then I would just say, oh, this is a retest and we're very likely to cross through and make a new high. And then you watch out towards the end of the week, right? You wipe out some signals, you make fresh ones, and you do something like this and you just see boom, tap in, go up. There's your Friday. Maybe you see a little lip on the end with FOMOers, you know, and then it starts to pull down. Because what would this overall set up if this would happen? Let's do this. 2 hour, right? We would actually see that little lip go bink and then show us kind of like, remember Meta? Does anyone remember Meta? Anyone remember the Meta play like this, where it literally showed that bink up for a second and it gave you the 2 hour divergence outside of a monthly move, and then it collapsed, and then it literally just like started collapsing, and we were talking about it, and I missed it because I was greedy and I was like, I want a better position, so I'm waiting for the last 30-minute divergence. It didn't make a 30, it just confirmed a 2 hour and plummeted past the monthly expected move, the upside. This reminds me a lot of that, and I'm going to be looking for that. If something like that sets up, I will potentially actually take I would say a little bit more than a hedge, or maybe just the hedge position, because I'm not 100% sure with Expiration, right? If we start to dig into like 5-minute charts and things like that, what are you seeing? You're super deep now. Have you seen anything about this 5-minute that says like, yeah, we want to turn around? Well, no, you need to take this out. You need to get through all of these sellers. You need to blow past this point right here. You need to get above this to be back in a positive trend. So you're looking for like a boom here if you want to be back on the bull side, and probably see a little continuation tomorrow, at least in the early stages of the day. So this is another time, if you have that little sheet that I gave you, and do you guys want me to post that to Patreon? Do you guys want me to post the Expiration dates on Patreon for you, so you can just have it, and then you can screenshot it, you can save it, see if you guys want that. If that would help you, I'll put it out there because I still have it. If you want me to flash it up on the screen real quick, I can click into it real quick. Okay, Bernie, we will. I'll give it to you on the screen real quick. Let me give it to you on the screen real quick so other people can see it. I got to go way down in my files though. Screenshots. I think it's this one right here. Okay, so here's your calendar for it, if you guys want to screenshot this real quick. So the next time we're going to deal with this is February. It's pretty, you know, or I'm sorry, not February. Sorry, the next time we will deal with this is towards June 18th. I'm sorry about that. And I believe June 18th, weirdly enough, is, I don't know why I said February. I just read like the second one on the list. So June 18th. The funny thing about June 18th, as far as data goes, okay, as far as data goes for June 18th, hold on one sec. Next. Okay, the next FOMC meeting will be on June 17th, June 18th. So that you already can read into the future, and you can go, Expiration causes heightened volatility. What event is going to be around that heightened volatility that they are going to use in the news to tell you whatever they're going to tell you? It's going to probably be FOMC. I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, one more time, real quick. Bam, last chance to screenshot. 3, 2, 1, and it's gone. All right, we'll post that to Patreon though. Yeah, so you can already see June 17th, June 18th, we have FOMC. And I think that'll be utilized as a reason for maybe heightened volatility again. UNH, you guys want to look at that for a moment? UNH doing good things, doing very good things, actually. Now, what are you looking for if you are wanting to get bullish here? You're still looking for a retest. 2 hour able to cross up. Okay. So you're looking for a retest to go well, in my opinion. And this would be overall a 30-minute retest of what? Right? Of what? Well, you want to see those areas where buyers came in. So you'd be looking here. You'd be looking at the gap, right? You'd be looking here. You'd be looking at the low. This is actually very, very good, right? You were able to go positive. So you would be looking first at these type of levels in here. So best case scenario in my mind right now with how this looks, 276.68. That would give you more of a confirmation on the 30-minute, like, hey, we see a sell-off, then we see it come back. That would be great because that would give you confirmation of you're going to reach up higher and maybe try to fill that gap. Now, if you're just reacting up, up, up and away, and you're not getting a pullback in any kind of fashion, I would say the area to be cautious is within this gap. And even if you don't have like, you don't need center lines really, I would just mark off this entire thing and just go, okay, in here, if we just blast up into there, you have to start to be like, okay, if I would just bought it down at this level, and then this level is where I could see weakness, well, then what I would want to see is that blow past there. So if I see any kind of resistance here and it drops down, I would be hesitant. I would be hesitant and say we can still revisit this, right, on that 30-minute. So that's what I would suggest here. More so with UNH though. You guys know I've been talking about this multiple times, and the fact that everyone keeps shouting out UNH just because it's down low. If you're investing and it's a good price, it's a good price, right? If you're investing and you get this good of a discount and you still think UNH is a good company, you think, you know, UNH is going to do what? They're going to pay me a dividend. Then I don't really see the problem with investing here. So take it for what it's worth. That's how I see it for now. I told you this is where an accumulation zone happens, and this is where you can start to see bounces. We said that here. We said it even more so here, and now you're seeing a bounce. Did I say it was a good option play in my mind? I don't think so. But I think for investment purposes, this is why you should be looking at UNH, is for investment purposes. As of right now, we have tapped into that zone. We are making our way back into the daily expected move. We have to make it through all of these sellers in here. 254. Okay, perfect. We didn't get like to it to a T, but in that top zone, that's where you like to look. Like, look at this one right now. Like, look at this. You want to be looking in here, right? And this is where like degens, they'll take a chance. If it gets down to here, they'll take a chance, right? Now, we're not seeing the things from the 5-minute you would like to see, but you do have this nice little divergence on the RSI. We'll see if it's able to go positive. When it goes positive, what could that mean is happening? Well, if this goes positive, how high up is it going to have to go? Well, it's going to have to cross through here, right? You got rejected right here. So what this would overall look like is we need to get through that high, and if you're really and I would just say you need to get through this one. So I wouldn't like beat you up if you were just like, okay, I'm making my zone from here to here, because that's technically what you need to get through. But if you see there's some sellers that were up at this high as well, so you'd really like it to get above that area. You need to see a snap to the upside. You got to snap to the downside, which means what for Expiration? If they're showing their hand here, this could be the period of weakness for VIX Expiration. And so if you take that in mind, it's kind of like an earnings or something like that. You don't have to risk money this week. And if VIX Expiration causes some kind of big pullback down to 585 and you like that price and you have information that says, hey, this should be a good level to invest, or you're seeing things that set up a good option play, like from your weekly expected moves that happen to be where they happen to be down there, right? 585. If you see a nice little option play, cool, right? As of right now, the buyers are trying to step in. Veil heel toe. What's Veil? Oh, non-energy minerals. Okay. For this, yes, actually, this is still good. The reason it is still good is because you haven't seen the bad, right? You haven't seen the bad, you haven't seen the bad. So you haven't seen it here, you haven't seen it here. You haven't seen that wiped out. Now you see the Monday reaction, and what are we doing with that Monday reaction? Well, we're even holding at that. So where the buyers really stepped in from Monday, you're looking where? And a good habit to do if you're going to do this with individual like big bull bars like this is look where the previous wick came in too. Look where the next wick comes in, because you can use that as kind of a point to make it more refined. You can include the whole bar, in my opinion, but if you want to make it more refined, you look at how much sellers tried to push the price down to, And then you say, okay, the real buyers are in this area. And then look how that ends up lining up. It looks really nice. Now you have to do this in real time. So if you see a big bullish bar like this and the next one gives you a wick like that one, try to disclude the wick sometimes. I would say you can mark it off like this, but then if it starts to drop through that pretty aggressively, just pull it back down to see where you're at. And you go, boom, okay, we're right there. We're not closing beneath it. We're starting to break back out of it. The buyers are stepping in. This means that there's a chance to go higher. Now, why is there a chance to go higher? Well, because you have a high, you have a higher high, right? Then from this sequence, you have a low, you have a higher low, and now you have a higher low because you weren't able to wipe that out. So if this is able to snap here, this is actually the potential for saying, okay, long or long with a stop at the bottom here, right? That's what a lot of day traders or even like, little 2-day, 3-day, 4-day traders would do for this type of thing. So I like the look of it so far. You do have some sellers to get through, but as you have made the new high and not made a new low, you are inclined to have a bullish tilt for the time being on the 30-minute chart. Now you have to see at any time that stop gets taken out, hey, you might be reaching into where? Well, this area, this is the real low. This is just a low for the week, right? So this is the real low down here. And so where are the buyers there? Okay, well, the buyers are in that big green bar. Do we have a wick that really tricks us out? Okay, we have a little bit of a wick right there, so we can go wick to wick there and just go, okay, right down there is where I can look next. But if it takes out that stop and it doesn't stop, right, that's why you kind of wait to see the reactions. If it takes out that area, it takes out your stop, and then it comes down to here and it buys again, you can say, okay, I'll try it again, right? Or you can say, we're too negative on the MACD, we're too aggressive to the downside, and this breaks through that area. You go, uh-oh, watch out for rolls, right? Watch out to do that. So Veil, I don't mind the look right now. Price can change very, very quickly, but I don't mind this right now because it's holding up where the buyers last really stepped in. And it has a good dividend. Let's check. What's the highs for this? It's going to take care of that gap soon. Hopefully it shows you the way higher first, but this would be nice. Show you the way higher, take care of the gap, then you turn back up. That would be a pretty nice look. I don't know if you want to lose this necessarily. It's just that gap is so close that it might show as pretty damn risky. I wish it would show you the highs above here. Yeah, do you see this too? Do you see why that's not necessarily a good thing here? Once it actually like breaks down. You never really showed like, oh yeah, we want to go higher, so dip down and go higher. You actually showed what? Bad things. You didn't make the path higher, so expect lower. And the only chance you have to hold up here is right here. And what did you do? You gapped below it. So that's a big freaking problem. But yeah, I think for me, on the 30-minute time frame, I don't mind it. If you're talking about it from investment, what do you think? Are you talking about from investment? I'm looking at a daily. If you're looking at the daily, you're still kind of like, oof, that downside path kind of open, right? So if you're looking at the daily scale, you really want this taken out and see a retest of lower levels. So you want to see like boom, and then see that come all the way back down, and then figure its shit out down in here. And you kind of see the structure start to build from that. But that's just talking all price action too. And then you see a pattern with it. That would be nice. What's the dividend? 7.63, not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. I don't know a ton about the company, but I would say look at the levels you're at too. That's COVID lows. So I think as far as accumulation goes, you like this area. And the cool part is, let's see. Let's see. Okay, do you see this? This right away, downtrend. Breaks the low. What does it do here? Right? Breaks. Retests. Down again. Down, 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 down. Down into these areas, though. This is a very good level. Now, why would this be a good level? Because you can do this on weekly charts as well. Where did the buyers step in? Pretty obvious gap. I would include that. And then probably look for something like this. right? And then you would pull that across. Ooh, pretty good. So if you see new highs here on the weekly, look for retests into this zone. That's where the buyers stepped in way back in 2020. So let's see if they step in again here. I don't think this is a bad area to be thinking of an investment for this, is what I'm saying. You just have to pay attention if we roll again or if we make a higher low down here. That would be better. Weekly trying to cross up here. Wait, did it cross already, right? Yeah, we crossed already. Okay. Someone said, Tyler wants to look at FCEL. Let's go look at that real quick. What time frame do you like, Tyler? Yeah, I don't think it's like bad. And if you're looking long term, then you really don't care too much. This one, showing pathway higher again. What you're looking for here is the retest of the bulls, right? Where could those bulls be lurking? You would say in here. Let's include those little guys down there too. Let's give us some room. You'd say here. Or actually, it's a lot. It's a lot. So let's try to shrink it down to who started this damn thing off. I'll include that gap right there in this wick. Worst case, I like this area right here. And is there a gap right there? I can't see. Okay, we'll include that too. Bam, right here would be good for a higher low. You're extremely positive. So if you get some kind of flush here, like over here, right? Like over here, where'd you go to? Right, you went directly into the top of this little gap right here. You see that little gap touch where those buyers stepped in? That's great. Look for a similar thing right over here. Yeah, a lot of price action stuff with this, and I'm just doing that because I think price action is something that people, we haven't gone in depth. Like, we most of the time do MACD stuff. So what's the way you can think about this very simply, right? With a simpler brain. Well, if this 30-minute crosses down and it's going to retrace the move in some way, I can pay attention to this 5, and I can say anytime price does this and then curls up on the 30-minute, hey, I'm not going to be that guy that's trying to degen this thing lower, but I'll be the guy that's in the move once momentum confirms it, and then you test the high and you go make a new one. Because you look at this in the past, and look at this. Flat. Sorry, I think it's flat. Yeah, relatively flat and down for your RSI, and look at that. Boom. Down. You don't have that right now. So really, I'm inclined to look at buyers here. So if I read into how this stock behaved previously and know that it doesn't have to behave the same again, I can really look at this type of area, right? And just be like anything above that, if I just see the curl up of the MACD or maybe a little 15-minute diversion, something like that, or I have a weekly move, however you want to do it. I'd really just like to talk simply about it and be like, hey, that 5 is going to catch up. All right, catches up to it. We dink off of it, and then it just curls up, and you go, okay, we're going to test this high or go make a new one. Where'd those sellers step in? Right here. So if I make it through all that, I'm looking pretty good. Now, if you look at this from probably a 2-hour perspective, you're close to topping out, right? You're close. You want to wipe this stuff out. You want to wipe this stuff out. Because if you see the 30-minute do this, and then the 30-minute go like this, and then cross down, right? Then that would say that this 2-hour is very likely to cross as well. So that's the full kind of analysis there. As of right now for your 2-hour, are you bullish or bearish? It's bullish, right? You see, boom, high, higher low, higher high. How does it go bearish? Bam, bam, bam. That's how you make new lows here. If you're worried about this and you've already had a nice trade, right? Make sure you're profitable in your trades, guys, right? We gotta make sure we're profitable. If I'm seeing upside, I better be taking somewhat profit. All right, looks like those buyers for now stepping in. Now you're gonna see this little battle. You're gonna have a battle between buyers on the 30-minute time frame and sellers on like a 5 or 15-minute time frame. You have a battle here and here. Who's going to win? Well, these guys are bigger, but these guys have possible Expiration on their side. My wife made me a nice coffee here. Yeah, Willow, what's the news going to print today? What's the news? I bet you money they're not going to tell you anything with, as people have been saying, I like this phrasing, market mechanics. I bet you they're not saying that. They're going to say, oh, we're seeing heightened volatility from a delayed reaction of this, right? Or there's going to be a different story and they're going to talk badly about whatever happens tonight with that bill or whatever. I cost average my shares of UNH at the bottom, and the trade is positive right now, actually, but prepared for another drop to form divergence and will hold most likely through it. Unless it violates, unless it violates that low of that entire zone. Do you know how difficult that would be, Robert? And how's rocking out going for you, man? Any new songs out there? Gotta tell us if you have a new song. But yeah, do you know how crazy that would be? And still at that point, you would go, this is still just discounts. Like, do you, like, from the investment perspective in UNH, you'd be like, is UNH going to zero? You know, let's go see something with UNH real quick, and I'll see if it's going to zero. Right? Let's see a monthly chart here. Let's see if this is going to zero. Well, it's been around since 1985, or at least been showing charts since 1985. It probably goes back a little bit further than that. And it's been just going and going and going. And now it's in a great level of support. And you're going, oh, yeah, I don't know. Option play. Dude, investments, man. Investments. Look at that. The monthly is still positive, right? It's trying to go negative. It has a terrible reversal signal. So if you invest here, right, and you're aware of this, what are you kind of looking for right now, right? As far as that investment goes, what are you looking for? You want to see this thing probably snap back over the next few months. I would say over the next like 6 months, you better see this thing going bam and taking back these levels. Because look at the sellers above here. Wow. You have to make it through all of these sellers, all of these sellers, all of these sellers. Looks terrible, looks risky, looks awful. Buy when others are fearful? Damn, this looks fearful. You have monthly divergence here. So the way that this goes bad is not necessarily this zone anymore. It's actually bigger. It's actually bigger, right? The way that this goes bad is we see this big reaction and we go into those first really big sellers and we reject. That's how you get bad again. So this says, you know, potentially watching out for next earnings. If you fail before then, you fail before then. Yeah, plan for the trade, plan for the investment. Yeah, let us know, Robert. We got to hear those tunes. And then let us know how the what you're thinking about that one. I know everyone's like obsessed with UNH all of a sudden. Oh, did he? UBTS. Let's see if the short made sense. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay. Did it make sense on the 2-hour to short? No. Did it make sense on the 30-minute? No. When was the short put on? This just never. This never really. It's like, okay, dictate where the higher low is. Okay, it's probably like here. You have to dictate where that is. Look at the way we go higher, retest, go higher, retest, go higher. Yeah, nothing about this was really that bearish. That's why you don't read into this stuff. You don't read into stuff that's like forming, and you see a divergence right here forming, and you see a high, and you go, I'm gonna short that. When you know not to short this anymore, I know it's kind of counterintuitive, but you just don't want to play with it. If it's seeing an upside trend, you break through that high, you at least see the pathway higher. You just don't try to short the downside, right? This is another example of don't try to short the downside. Instead, look for the bullish play next. If this would have gave you this and then turned up, that would be better. Now you're getting the euphoric move to ruin your shorts, and now it's probably going to pull down into that area and curl up, right? Or it's going to remain at higher levels, right? New zone. New zone. Yeah, let's do, well, let's go into a 2-hour. Let me find a wick in here. Yeah, probably something like this. Like it can come down into this type of area. And part of me really wants to shrink this a little bit and go like that. I think that looks better, but we'll include that wick right there because it seems we tapped into that zone. That's why, like, if you're in a positive trend, it's extremely difficult to short. This is what we've talked about with the SPY multiple times now. If you're in a positive trend, it's extremely difficult to short. With expiration, you can probably catch some good trades with that to the downside, but you got to be tactical. You got to be quick. Thought about shorting it right now. You never know where that's going to stop. You never know. Even shorting it now is risky. You're probably going to reach down to find buyers at some point, but what time is at some point? Does someone have a watch that says at some point? Are we almost there? What's next for that stock is look for a dip. Look for a dip that holds up, makes a higher low, and then you got that chance to go up to make a new high, right? Especially if the move hasn't shown you, like, you know, what, 3 pushes higher. If you start to see 3 pushes higher, you know, you see 2 pushes higher and you see a pullback, you got to just be a little bit aware, like, hey, what if this is an ABC? What if it's just a 1, 2, 3? Okay, give us the 4, 5. But 4, 5 would be corrective and be expecting something a little bit worse to happen there. $59.20-ish. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we end up going to 596 or 600 during VIX expiration, that would be insane, first of all. Second of all, this dip would have been like, oh, I wish I would have. Can you look at Palantir? Yeah, let's go look at Palantir for a moment. And then we're going to focus on the SPY in about like 5 or 10 minutes or so. PLTR. Palantir, I'm more worried about, but if you look at the 2-hour time frame, this isn't bad, right? You've seen plenty of ways higher for the 2-hour. Okay, we dip lower. We dip into the previous high. Look where we're going. We're in the buyers, right? So just mark that off and go, wow. You don't even have to include the wick here. It's so bullish, but you could literally do this and say buyers anywhere in there. Literally, they can show up at any moment, right? So what do we want to pay attention to? Well, let's see if we have any information that can help us out with Palantir, right? Let's see if we have any info, and if we're at critical levels, maybe it can help us out. Well, it looks like 119, 120 is a critical level for Palantir. What does 119 and 120 coincide to? Well, it's where both of these things line up, where the block zone lines up with where the buyers came in. And so if you tap all the way down to here, you'll be hitting both zones at the same time. And if you don't like crack that, right, then you really have no chance of seeing this. So if you're able to see something like this, and then you see a buy come in, just be looking for this type of move. That's what Palantir kind of says right now. It's just dipping into where the extreme buying came in. Now, for the 30-minute, it's a different story, isn't it? It's trying so hard not to make the pathway down anymore. The problem here is you kind of showed that pathway, you reacted up into where those sellers are in the gap, and then you flushed again. That really suggests like, hey, we could make a new low. So I would say that this one is kind of a mix-up between your 30-minute and your 2-hour right now, which is kind of tough when you're looking at price action. So more so inclined to just believe, okay, eventually this 2 hours is probably going to turn up, right? Eventually this 2 hours is probably going to turn up, right? That's how I see it for the time being. But we ultimately said, hey, down in these type of areas for Palantir is good. You know where it's great? Down here. I don't know if you're not going to make it there. I don't think you make it there for Palantir. Now, my assessment with Palantir has changed since seeing this, right? Back here, or I'm sorry, here, we were talking about these lows, and we took those out. That's why we're like, ooh. But that reaction, we changed a little bit there and said, watch, this could hold up better, right? But originally up here, we're going, that's way too overextended. You could end up seeing a big-ass drop down to here. You've held price really, really well. If you really look at this, you're going, wow, that's holding really well. So even if you remain in this and you come down, you pop up, you come down again, you tap into that zone, you would still be like, okay, what's my 2 hour looking like? Is it near that center line? Whoop. So I'm not necessarily inclined to be like overly bearish on it based on the 2-hour time frame. The 30-minute time frame doesn't look as good. So that means you might have a little bit more patience, or you might have the 30 minutes set up a divergence to kind of hint when that's going to turn around. If that 30-minute divergence can pop up, we just see something like this for a second, and then you see that turn back up, that would be a great sign, right? Because all you'll see down here on your RSI is just a little bloop, bloop, and maybe that makes a divergence point for you, but you're not oversold yet, so I'd like it to be oversold. So hard to say with Palantir. I would just say, have some conviction, and maybe if you're looking at an option, you would be a little bit more patient, or taking longer out plays, like end of June type plays. That's how I see Palantir for the time being. We'll see if it changes, right? That one has changed. We saw the massive drop. We were like, hey, we're going to get this right. It's going to go down. And then it just popped right back up. We go, ooh, that makes it a little different, doesn't it? Now, do you see the battle between the bears, the sellers, and the buyers is taking place? Who's going to win? My answer would be the market maker. The market maker is going to win in the end of all of it. Yeah, I don't think the analysis of Palantir is like cut and dry right now. Looking at VIX, I'll see if it makes a new low here. I'm still kind of leaning towards it's hitting 1683 first, but VIX expiration, man. VIX will collapse when AMC and GME pop off. That's what I think. That's what I think about a lot of those type of names. I think you're seeing, I think that's what you end up seeing. Actually, let's go look at those for a sec, by the way. With 15 minutes left, we're still going to mainly pay attention here. We'll look at a 5-minute in a moment. Let's go look at GME. Tapping into the zone, right? Kind of consolidating. Overall, was this like bearish? It has the inclination to become bearish. It really does. It has that inclination. Why? Well, because we went up, we retraced that move, and we're like, yeah, we're going. Oh, stop. Lower high. And another lower high possibly coming in. So what you wanted to see here was this to make a higher low and then break through that high, but you didn't even get that. So you're in a confusing place as far as price action goes. So this is where like the moves are getting smaller. You're obviously getting tighter, right? So something big is coming. What's that something big? Shit, we'll have to see, brother. Look for a break up or a breakdown. I use bull bear stages in 30 seconds. Woo! Woo! That's some degen activity. Did you see a 30-second play for the SPY just now? I wonder if you did. Because I bet the 30 seconds set something up. Like a higher low. But yeah, this one for the time being is very interesting. We'll see how that shapes up. AMC, on the other hand, right? AMC, oh, it's going. Here we go. We can retrace this all we want. We can retrace it. We're still positive. We're not losing anything bad. All right, let's get through this again. That's the bad part. You're losing this again. But you showed a way higher. That's why I like this. Don't turn around, AMC. Do not set up the lower high. If you do set up the lower high, by the way, notice where did AMC dip into? The initial buyers, the big first buyers that came in. Bam, up. All right, but where is it starting to struggle? Hold that line across and see, oh, where the sellers started to step in, right? So you're in that battle again. And right now that battle would be suggested to be like, hey, the bulls are trying. They need to push through this and ultimately just go up and make that new high. And hopefully this is just a crazy move, but for the time being, 2 hour just keeps reject. 2 hour really looks like it wants to fall down. Right? If the 30-minute is going to head up, well then we got to make it through a lot of business here. You got to make it through a lot of stuff because this is where rejection can take place, right? Notice the 307 being important again. This is where you can make a new low and dip into where? Well, deeper prices where those bulls are lurking, but if you're making a new low here, right? This is your low. If you make a new low, then you're curling over and doing what? You're going negative, right? If you're going negative, what could you be starting? That downtrend type thing. So you could see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just completely collapse here. So problem for AMC, it's doing what it's got to do to attempt, but it's not seeing enough. It's not seeing enough. It needs more than that. God, this is so close. Let's go into a 5-minute, focus up on the SPY. I will try to, actually, where is NVIDIA? Is it still kind of in that middle area? Oh, okay, not bad. Extend. And then here's where you're looking for either new high, retest and go, or rejection and go lower. Yeah, so I'd be drawing up a box. I'd be drawing up a box here if you need to see it. No, we got to make it tighter than that. Let me look. Where do we keep running into problems? Here, these wicks. These wicks right here. Do you see this? Do you see these? Do you see the closing bar here? That's what I'm looking at. And so if this is going to get bullish again, you have to do what? Well, you got to see us break through that and start to turn this into support. If you just run into this area and you fall, you're probably making a new low. But as of right now, the price action is leaning towards this until you lose the critical things down here. That Monday low starts to be a good point to pay attention to. So I just drop a little box. Let's go into the 5 minutes, see if we're doing good 5-minute things, huh? As of right now for the 5-minute, this is a good start. It's a good start, right? You would say like, hey, taking this out's good, but we're going to reach up. We still have those sellers up here. So what do we need to take out? We want to take out anyone who is having the inclination of selling. So we want to take out all this. So really you want to get above here. We'll see if you see that by end of day. Take a big old oh, where's my coffee? Well, I mean, just like people are able to talk good about a stock, someone can talk bad about a stock too. It's fine. Just ignore it. Heel toe. If you have a difference in opinion, that's perfectly fine. You shouted out your opinion. Let other people shout out theirs. If theirs is different from you, you just go. You know, you can kind of turn around and be like, you know, just if it goes your way, then you can say you don't shout them out or anything. Just be like, huh, hey, look at AMC. Right at the end of the day, you don't need. You shouldn't, or at least no one should. And I'm not talking badly about either one of you guys, right? I'm just saying, like, it's fine to have a difference in opinion, right? I think it's fine for Richard to have a different opinion. Heel toe. I like your opinion better. I want it to go up, right? Richard, I'm not on your side, okay? We're loading boats over here. Leave me and heel toe alone. We're loading boats, damn you. We're buying bonk. You know? So, hey, if someone wants to talk, you know, give their opinion on yours, here's what I like to say too, right, heel toe? Hey, Richard, here's what you say. Here's what you say, heel toe. Let me help you out. Hey, Richard, do you have a short position on AMC right now? See, that's what you say. That's what you say. when you're sure Democrat. I have 0 position on AMC. Perfect. Here's what I will tell you, heel toe. Here's what I'll tell you, heel toe. If someone has that amount of conviction about a stock going in a certain direction, wouldn't they have money behind it? Right, Richard? I love poking 2 bears at one. Well, I guess one of you's a bear, one of you's I love poking a bear and a bull at the same time who are having a fight. Richard's not loading the boat on AMC short puts, right? He's not buying puts. Fine, I'll buy puts. Richard. Hey, we're going to make you some money, Richard. You're going to take our money, okay? Yeah, let's keep it friendly, guys. If someone has a difference in opinion, you know, it may seem like it, and I seem like it sometime too. Just like I'm not trying to offend you, I highly doubt that anyone in the chat is trying to seriously, like, come at you, okay? We don't need to name each other. You can give your opinion about anything in my chat. I really don't care. As long as we're like, hey, you know, at the end of the day, your opinion matters the most to you, right? Just let other people have theirs. Target earnings. Woo! Let's go, Target! Let's go, Target! Die beast, die beast, die beast, die beast. Formula, formula, formula. This is good. We're wiping out a lot of the sellers. This is good. You see why we don't get too bearish too quick? Expiration can fuck all this up, by the way. But this is really nice. I like it. I love it. Now we need a lot more of it, unfortunately. See, you guys would be best friends. I don't know. Maybe you guys could do an activity together. Hey, Richard, would you like to go see like Lilo and Stitch with Heel Toe? Maybe at like a theater? I don't know. AMC. I'm just teasing you guys. See, we mellow out, right? We mellow out. It's fine. We're all here for the same reason. We want to do good things. We want to make money not for the soul of getting rich. We want to make money to get rich to do what? What's our real why? What's your real why? Our real why, or at least my real why, I hope yours is in a similar way, to better your life and better the life of the people around you. That's it. I need to see that with my boys and guess which movie theater is the only one in my parents' AMC. And you walk in, you should walk in, buy a ticket, and be like, I'm shorting your stock. Oh God. Hi, can you get Adam Aaron for me? Can you slap him? Exactly, Frank. You're trying to better your life though, right? You're not getting rich you don't want to get rich for greed and continue to try to get more and more. Come on, guys. You don't want to do it for just money alone. Have a better purpose. Your purpose should be to better your life, right? To better your parents, to better your sister, to better your brother, to better your kids. Much better. Netflix, another all-time high. Oh, of course, Frank. And I get you. I get what you're saying. Everyone's in that standpoint right now. It'd be nice to not worry about money all the time, right? I'm sure a lot of people these days have that sentiment. All right, 5 minute, looking pretty good. Should we degen this on a 1 minute? Should we degen this on a 1 minute? All right, so how do we head down? How do we head down on this 1 minute chart? We see the way higher. How do we head down? We lose this low. We've seen a 1, a 2, not extending the 3 as much right now. So if we start to drop now, watch for that low to get taken out. We should be able to scale this up pretty well if the bulls are really here. Let's do 1 second. Oh, Jesus. Do people trade a 1 second? Do people really trade that? Exactly, Frank. I love it, Frank. I wish nothing but good for you and those people that you care about, okay? Tell them I say, hey. And tell them I say, Frank is doing the work right now. He's going to help you out later in life. It might take him 5, 10 years, you know. We'll give him some time. 500 millisecond. Let's do 1. Shut up. Crypto traders do that shit? You know what? Fuck it. We'll look at Bonk. After the market closes, we'll look at Bonk or some shit. I sold my Moodang for a 50% gain. I sold my Moodang for a 50% gain. Gang. Do you know how much money I had in my Coinbase when I looked? And I was like, I'm gonna buy Moodang. I think that was like a month ago. How much money I had in there? A whopping, a stunning. I'm not even kidding. This is how much money was in my Coinbase. This is how much invested into crypto I am right now, if this wants to give you a sentiment. I had $200 in Moodang. That's all I did. I opened up my Coinbase, wanted to have some fun like a month ago. And I went, oh, I got 200 bucks. Let's buy Moodang. And then I sold it for a 50% gain like recently. Okay, 1 minute, trying to do good things. Almost so close. Actually, no, you still got to take out like all of these sellers. We'll see here. If we absolutely dump, oof, that's going to be rough. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, if we dump past this low now, price action for a 1 minute would suggest some stuff. Oh no, I took like all my money out of Coinbase a long time ago. Once if you want me to tell you when I took most of my money out of all of my crypto stuff, the FTX scandal. The FTX scandal really made me go, I'm not doing this shit. I'm down on my AMC puts already. God dang it, Richard. We were kidding. Don't bet against it. If it squeezes, you could get like margin called. You didn't actually get heel toe. He put his money. Hey, here's what you do, heel toe. If Richard's saying if he actually does have puts, you at least respect the guy. You can't get margin called for puts. Yeah, you can get fucked though. Oh yeah, you're not shorting, sorry. Yeah, you gotta respect it. Do you see how you guys become best friends all of a sudden? And now your heel toe cam after hours right now, you can turn that bad boy on whatever foot finder you're doing to make money in your free time, and you can turn that heel toe cam on and you can make some money. And you can invest more into AMC, you know? Oh, you guys are great. Let's go look at some crypto for fun. Yeah, you put your money where your mouth is, man. He's saying, I see it clear as day. And I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's great. That's when someone actually has conviction. We love it. Let's go look at some crypto. Let's go look at 2-hour charts on some crypto. Also, that close, not necessarily bad, right? See the 30-minute RSI trying to curl up. See us getting price above this area, but not leaving you with a, oh, obvious, like, yeah, it's going to go up, right? Not leaving you with the obvious up by taking out 593.80. They're like, no, let's sit it right there. Right where those sellers could still dabble. Let's sit it right there. If you really want to talk about the seller zone, right? Jesus, what the fuck? That scared me. I hate when that happens. I don't like loud noises. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let me see if he'll shut it. Okay. If we want to go look at, let's go look at the Dogemeister first. Not bad, right? Not bad, not great. That's usually crypto in a nutshell. Price action wise, difficult stuff. What do I look for? I look for if we're seeing good things, and those good things keep going. Did we see a really good thing? Yeah, you took this out. So as far as price action goes, you would say, ooh, Doge, doing some interesting things. Now, if you really look at this from like a 4-hour perspective, you're trying to go positive. If you look at this from the daily perspective, you're trying to pull back right now, possibly, right? This could be that time where you get that last push, right? That last like uptrend type moment, and then you just fall, right? For something like this. Hopefully this just takes off though. This is very good. This is very good. This is all good stuff. And look at this. So if you're paying attention to crypto, just look for daily divergence, right? All throughout this, every single daily divergence, just scale in. Then you're gonna have a price like in here. And you just go, okay, if that thing's really gonna be positive right there. And you can trade like crypto. I don't think crypto does the like day trading rules if you're using one of those platforms. Because I think Doge is on like something. I don't think you have to follow day trading rules for crypto. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's look at Bitcoin. See how Bitcoin, where could money go out of, right? Money could come out of Bitcoin, maybe go into those little guys. The 4-hour was able to figure its shit out. That's awesome. It's still within the realm of reason to be like, get this and then just dump it. Get this and then dump that bad boy. This would be the delayed reaction, but you've set up those divergences multiple times. 2-hour. Yeah, you even have them now. That's risky going into tomorrow. I want to see this thing pop off a little bit more. Let's go look at some other stuff for funsies. What is it? Bonk. What did I say I'd look at? Bonk. A bonk. Bonk, not bad. Really not bad, actually. Right? You see what it does. It likes to make a move, come back, do, make a move, come back, do it. So you need to break to the upside here. Pretty simple. Break to the upside here, and things get a lot better. And the 2 hours trying to do it right now. So you need new highs in here. You don't have to get retests with crypto. Daily time frame does have divergence, so it would say you're maybe at a top or nearing a top. So you want this thing to explode and wipe out these divergences if you want to see something big. As far as the 4 hour goes, you're kind of just teetering up, which seems to be how this how Bonky Boy behaves. It kind of teeters up, then goes, teeters up, then goes. It's pretty nice. Look for the break above the high, look for the break above the high, and that would give you a better conviction of like, yes, we don't have to retest, but you can. And then you can start to head towards where those sellers really stepped in, those wicks. Actually, not bad. The pathway seems to be up for a lot of this, even in the short term. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Just not wiping out the highs. That's the problem. You're just consolidative. Not bad. But, I know we'll load the boat on that one. All right, guys. I'm going to hop off so I can give you guys a YouTube video tonight, okay? How's that sound? Patreon members, I know we gave you guys a video. But as far as it stands for the time being, it looks like we're trying to utilize those buyers to gain some support to actually head higher. Nothing about this is really terribly bearish on the 30-minute time frame, right? On the 30-minute time frame. In the shorter time frame, you're stuck kind of between those buyers and those sellers from today. So we'll see how this thing shapes up. We have a gap overhead and things like that we might want to take care of, so we'll look for that for resistance, but we'll talk about a lot of this stuff as we get some new updated daily expected moves and things like that. So thank you guys for being here today. Go see your guys' movie together, buy some nice popcorn, oh, you look at what's DLTR? What do you think about it, Willow? If you want to look Dollar Tree. Showed the new high. That's great. You might go to retest where those buyers came in once again. Is this thing just... Oh, there's no trades. Damn, that was your last little dink into that area. And then you're up. What's this? What's this low? 61.87. 61.80, so high or low, just barely, no pathway down there. Then you cross up, but you don't really take out this wick till over here, retest, go higher. Not bad. The safer trade was here, and you're still making pathways higher. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Seeing a bunch of divergence pop up. If you're holding on to this stock, you're pretty happy on the 30-minute, though. On the 30-minute, you're like, okay, we can tap into here and go up. We can go to here and go up. We can go all the way down to here and go up. We can go fill this gap and still go up. You just don't want to do this. You know, you take out these wicks. Where's the low here? 84.91. 30-minute would say wait for retrace. What is... Okay, Dollar Tree. I mean, does this thing have a short seller problem, Willow? I think it's running good. I think I'd agree with that statement. Screw it, I'm shorting that too. My girl can buy it at Lowe's at the start of the quarter or 50% discount. About to throw in some money. Let's pick another stock. I'll short it. What's another one? What's another crazy one right now? I know, like, I heard some people. I did see this. I saw people looking at cost, but I don't think you can short this one. Can you? Yeah, I don't think you can short it. Hey, it dipped down into where those buyers were. It dipped down into the buyers for just a split sec there. What's one you can actually short? Oh, Palantir. I don't know, man. Palantir's kind of crazy. Oklo? Oklo? Let's see what people are seeing on Oklo. Let's see if it at least has a chance. Ah, you got the chance. Yeah, no pathway lower, right? No pathway lower. Higher, higher, higher. I mean, so until you see like this, you can't really break down to go grab those buyers lower. Maybe you're going to see that sooner rather than later, though. That's a lot of divergence, man. Well, at least a 2 hour, maybe a 2 hour pull, like actually pulls back. 2 hour actually pulls back to where? Well, you'd like it to come into here. Do this. Even here, right? So even here for the 2 hour. I know the 30-minute, that's where it becomes risky. I think the 2 hour you're looking for here. 30, 37-ish. And then you'll look if that's retesting for a lower high or going higher. Oh, God. Oh, God. Daily time frame. You are just starting to dabble into those sellers, man. Look at this. Holy crap. You have a gap. You have a gap. No gap here. Gap. A lot of gaps here. Gap. So it's like, do we want to go, how do we want to do this? Do we want to go like boom, then dump it, then go? Or do we want to dump? I think you want to dump it, then go, right? I think you want to dump it, then you see it go without curling down the daily, and then you run into resistance and probably start to show that pathway down. That's reading a lot into the future, but it'll be interesting. Look for the first move and we'll see what happens. Pretty interesting. Yep, I'm gonna short it. I like it. All right, guys, I gotta hop off of here. I gotta, relax just for a little bit, play with baby girl for a sec, take the boys on a little walk, and then I will be working on a YouTube video for you guys. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in a little bit, and I'll see you in the morning, all right? Patreon members, I know we've been doing some morning updates. If I see price at a wonky place that seems like crazy and we need to talk about it, I will put out a Patreon video in the morning, okay? GG's. Bye. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Peace out. See ya, Jonna. See ya, Milky. My daughter says Milky now. If I can teach her fade, I'll have her say it into the mic one time soon. I don't think she could learn fade right now. F's are hard. Peace out, guys. Later, Allison. Later, best friends, Richard and Heel Toe.